Martin, you got all that? And don't think I'm going to start calling you by your full name. To me, you'll always just be Martin, so don't get a big head. Martin chuckled. Relax, I'd never dream of acting high and mighty. So, will everyone be there? All 27 of us? Not quite. Miss Johnson's just had a baby overseas. She really wanted to come, but the little one's too young to fly, and she can't leave him behind. And Kate, remember Kate? Of course. What about her? No one's been able to track her down. She just vanished. Some other family lives where she used to, and even her old college has no clue where she went. Not surprising. It's been so many years, probably moved away. Most likely. And is everyone bringing spouses? Up to you. Annie said she's showing up solo, needs a break from her husband and 3 kids. Can you believe it? Our beauty has triplets now? No way. Wait until you see her. You won't even recognize her. That fragile beauty turned into a true supermom, solid, radiant, and in charge. Martin laughed. I don't buy it. Oh, come on. Remember how she used to throw fits in the cafeteria about unhealthy food? Oh, I remember. Those rants drove everyone crazy. We just wanted to scarf down whatever they served, tasty or not, and race around the school afterwards. Exactly. And Miss Simmons always said we were stifling Anna's personal growth. Martin chuckled again. His old classmate Steve had called out of the blue, so suddenly that Michael didn't even recognize the voice of the class activist at first. It took a moment to figure out what Steve wanted, and then, finally, he was genuinely glad to hear from him. Lately, though, Martin had been feeling a bit restless. Big changes were coming. The wedding was just around the corner, yet everything felt flat. He couldn't even explain why. Life ran on rails, predictable and smooth. And Lisa, well, there just weren't any sparks. Maybe they were simply at different stages in life, probably his fault more than hers. After all, she was only 23. He was pushing 40. He'd seen it all, tried it all, well, except family life. Martin sat for a moment longer. He needed to drive over to Liza's place, tell her about the reunion, and let her know to get ready. He wanted everyone to be stunned by what kind of fiancée he had. Martin stepped out of his office. Nancy, I don't have anything important today, right? That's correct. Today's clear. Good, then I'm heading out. All right, Martin, I'll call if anything comes up. He nodded and headed down to the car. Liza was still living in the apartment he rented for her. She would have moved in with him long ago. In fact, she'd insisted on it, but he had this odd hang-up. A fiancé should live separately until the wedding. Liza would just tap her temple and say it was complete nonsense. But Martin dug in his heels, and even he couldn't explain why. He parked the car outside the building where he rented an apartment for Liza, got out, and headed straight inside. He unlocked the door with his own key. Strange, there were sneakers in the hallway, and definitely not women's. Martin walked through the living room, then opened the bedroom door. Liza was in bed and not alone. She was very busy, so much so she didn't notice him right away. Oh, Martin. She shoved a muscular young man off her, jumped up, and wrapped herself in a sheet. Martin, this is not what you think. It's him. He forced me. The guy stared at her in disbelief, then turned to Martin. Apparently he recognized him, because he instantly went pale. I didn't force her. I didn't even want. But Martin suddenly laughed. Liza, relax. I stick to the principle that you don't hit women, even women like you. He turned and headed for the door. She caught up to him at the entrance, clung to him. Martin, please, forgive me. You never have time for me. Please, I'm sorry. You're clearly not bored, Martin said. Making good use of your time, I see. Martin, I love you. I can't live without you, she pleaded. He laughed again. Can't live without me? Or without my money? Liza, stop it. And don't forget, rent's due in a week. As he walked to his car, he blocked Liza's card and decided he needed a drink. It felt as if every cat in the city had scratched up his soul. He pulled over at the first restaurant with parking. The car could stay there, he just needed to sit down and drink. Try to forget Liza, and maybe reset his own head a bit. He took the smallest table, hoping no one would join him. It was a weekday, and the place was nearly empty. A waiter rushed over at once. What can I get you? Something to drink, and something light to snack on. Martin poured himself shot after shot, methodically, not wanting to think about anything. In the background, a violinist played soft music. An hour later, he went to the restroom. When he came out, he stumbled onto a strange scene. "Hey, don't fill the bucket to the brim. You'll spill it all." A group of waiters stood in the hallway laughing at a cleaning lady who was trying, or at least about to try, to polish the floors. At first, Martin didn't understand what was going on. Then she started walking, and he saw that she limped, quite noticeably. So that was what made the young staff laugh. Martin couldn't stand seeing the weak being mocked, even though he was a businessman. "What's going on here?" The waiters instantly straightened up. "Few people in this city didn't know Martin. What do you think you're doing, you little punks? Why don't you help her carry the bucket instead?" Martin grabbed the bucket himself. "Where do you want me to take this?" The woman looked up at him, and he nearly dropped the bucket. "Katie," she sighed. "Great. Guess I'll have to quit again." Martin set the bucket down and grabbed her hand. "Katie, it's me, Martin. I recognized you," she said calmly. "I did, you never came to this restaurant before?" Martin glanced at the waiters. "Take the bucket, find someone to clean this up. Or call the owner, I don't care. And put a second setting on my table." The waiters nodded quickly and scattered to carry out his orders. "Katie, come on, let's go. I don't understand any of this." "Let's go. You're not going to let me go anyway, are you?" Always so stubborn. They sat down at the table. Katie pulled off her scarf, and her gorgeous hair spilled over her shoulders. She instantly looked like a completely different person. "Katie, time has no power over you at all." She gave a sad smile. "As for me, time just passes, another day gone, that's all. I don't recognize you. What's happened? You used to be so lively, so full of energy. Well, that was long ago. People say children are cruelest, but that's not true. Adults are far worse." Martin still couldn't make sense of it. The waiters brought a second set of utensils and froze, waiting for instructions. "Martin, cognac or wine?" She gave him a mischievous glance. "Oh, you won't leave me alone anyway. Wine." A minute later, Martin raised his glass. "To our meeting, to you." Some time passed before he spoke again. "Katie, I won't let go. What happened? Why are you working here as a cleaner?" "I remember you studied. They said you were the best in your class. So what?" Katie smiled sadly. "I really was the best. My first project was a hit because I did it remotely for a client far away. And the second one, until I arrived on site. The clients were a young couple. And right there, in front of everyone who came with me, they laughed at me. Everyone was asking, how are you planning to run up and down the floors when one leg steps and the other only hops? That was the first time." I swallowed it. They sat down at the table. Katie pulled off her scarf, and her gorgeous hair spilled over her shoulders. She instantly looked like a completely different person. "Katie, time has no power over you at all." She gave a sad smile. "As for me, time just passes. Another day gone, that's all. I don't recognize you. What's happened? You used to be so lively, so full of energy. Well, that was long ago. People say children are cruelest, but that's not true. Adults are far worse." Martin still couldn't make sense of it. The waiters brought a second set of utensils and froze, waiting for instructions. "Katie, cognac or wine?" She gave him a mischievous glance. "Oh, you won't leave me alone anyway. Wine." A minute later, Martin raised his glass. "To our meeting, to you." Some time passed before he spoke again. "Katie, I won't let go. What happened? Why are you working here as a cleaner? I remember you studied. They said you were the best in your class, so what?" Katie smiled sadly. "I really was the best. My first project was a hit because I did it remotely for a client far away. And the second one, until I arrived on site. The clients were a young couple. And right there, in front of everyone who came with me, they laughed at me. Everyone was asking, how are you planning to run up and down the floors when one leg steps and the other only hops? That was the first time." I swallowed it. Then came the second time, then the third. I quit the work I loved and took a job where I just had to sit. That's where I met a guy, or rather, he met me. He could sit for hours just staring at me, showering me with sweet words, asking me out. I knew things like that happened, but to have it all out in the open, in front of every colleague, when I was walking toward him. You can't imagine how much words can sting when you've already trusted someone, when you've fallen in love. But I'm stubborn. I lay low, got over it, and went back to work, at a different place this time. And it all happened even faster. The boss took a liking to me. He was so persistent, singing me all these sweet songs. I stood up right in front of him and walked away somewhere. He watched me go, scowled, and fired me the very next day. As Katie spoke, Martin tapped his fingers on the table. She finished, and he looked at her. So you decided it's easier just to hide? Exactly. I didn't have money for surgery anyway, so this was the best option. Martin, you mean it can be fixed? Of course, it's congenital, not always operable, but mine? I had a bad fall from a bike as a kid, then an unlucky doctor, then some other bad luck. Eventually, my parents decided it was hopeless. Time was wasted, and by the time I grew up, everything had changed. The surgery costs as much as a 2-bedroom apartment downtown now. Martin looked at her grimly. Why didn't you come to me? We were friends in school. Katie laughed. And what would that look like? Martin, could you lend me a couple million? Why on earth would you do that? Katie, that's just wrong. There are people around you, surely. She looked up at him. Are you sure about that? People probably love you, smile at you, ever wonder why. Don't fool yourself. It's not because you're such a good person. It's because you've got money, power. Without that, you're not interesting to anyone. Martin wanted to argue, but lowered his head, remembering the sycophants. Katie, where are you now? I mean, where do you live and everything? Alone. Dad left when I was grown. Mom passed away. As for Dad, I don't know. I never checked. I see. Then go write your resignation. We're leaving. Katja looked up at him in surprise. Where to? Katie asked. For now. To my place. We'll figure it out later. No excuses. Or have you stopped trusting me? Katie looked into his eyes for a long time. Back in school, they had been so close, just friends, nothing more. And now she wanted so badly to believe that the old Martin hadn't changed. All right, she said firmly and stood up. At his home, they talked for hours. Katie argued, resisted, but Martin kept insisting. Martin, this is crazy. Why? Let's think it through. Are you waiting to meet some great love that'll make your heart flutter? No, but I'll never find it this way. After what Lisa did, I don't believe in anyone. But I do believe in you. We've known each other forever. We know each other better than anyone. We've always enjoyed being together. Honestly, how many married couples can even say that? Katie rose from her chair. But it's not right. So you think it would have been better for me to marry Lisa, the one I caught in bed with someone else? No, that's not what I... If you really believe that, I'll walk over to her right now and say everything's fine. Sergei stood up. Katie stared at him in alarm. That's not fair. Life isn't fair, Katie. So, will you marry me? I won't pressure you about, being husband and wife right away. But we'll get there, and I know our family will be strong and happy. I feel it, and every minute I'm more certain of it. Their high school reunion was moved to the most expensive restaurant in town, the very same place where Martin and Katie had first met again. Classmates stood around whispering. Anna, any idea why they moved it here? How should I know? Must have cost a fortune. And why haven't we started yet? I'm starving. The man beside her laughed. Anya, sounds like you've forgotten all about healthy eating. She sighed. When you're pestered all day by 3 kids, and then your husband joins in at night, you'd eat anything, as long as you're quick about it. The man chuckled again, then looked up. Wait, is that our sponsor? And who's with him? Katie, definitely her. Steve jumped up. Kat, hi. I've been trying to find you everywhere. Sergei, you sly dog, you kept quiet. Martin gave him a calm, almost formal look. Well, actually, Emma is my wife. Steve's face fell. So when I told you I couldn't find her, you were just laughing at me? No, I found her myself. That very night. Pure coincidence. Hold on. It's been, 3 weeks? And already married? Martin smiled. That's right, Steve. The party was in full swing when Katie stepped out to powder her nose. Passing the waiters, she suddenly found them all eager to help. Do you need anything? May we escort you? They asked, tripping over each other. Katya gave a wry smile. Could clothes and a hairstyle really change a person so much? The waiters froze, exchanging glances. You're... Katie said nothing, just walked past. Her mood was radiant. She had been approved for surgery abroad. She had the most wonderful husband, and tonight she would tell him something even better. There was still time for them to become happy parents. Thank you for listening to my stories. Please subscribe. There are many more exciting stories ahead. Let me know, what kind of stories are you most interested in?